Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. We're unveiling another project test video as we're going back to Momentum Football by Downey Games. As was mentioned, we're going back to 1985. We've got a double ticker test. We've got a double test lined up tonight. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do a double header game of two featured games in a week of testing. First up, we are at Arrowhead Stadium for a matchup between the Los Angeles Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Chiefs will, of course, be the home team, and we're probably just going to try to fly through these two games since I've got two of them, and I want to do a full ticker test. Mostly, I want to see how the length of the video cooperates. So, without any further ado, what say we jump right into the coin toss? You guys know how I resolve it by now, but I'll walk you through it. Chiefs, Raiders, decision. The higher of these two will be the team that wins the coin toss, and then the yellow die is for the decision. On an odd roll on the yellow D6, the winning team will defer the kickoff. Evens, they'll receive. All right, that will be Kansas City winning the coin toss, and they will defer. All right, and we are all set to get into this game. Neither team can return a kickoff for a touchdown, so we get to skip the kickoff and the punt procedure both. So that's very helpful, which means the Raiders will have the first drive of this game. And we are off to the races. All right, that will be 7 time coming off the clock for the Raiders. Down to 12:20 to play. 7 is coming off the team with momentum, except right now that's nobody, so that'll be Kansas City's defense. 32, the Raiders are going to have to punt that one away. That'll get punted over to the Chiefs for their first drive of the game. That'll be another 7 time coming off the clock. A 4 coming off of Oakland's defense, and a 16 is going to be a quarterback sack. And that'll pull momentum toward the Raiders. And of course, we can skip the punt return procedure. LA with their second drive of the first quarter. That'll be 5 time coming off the clock. Down to 8:20 to play in the quarter. 5 coming off Kansas City's defense, and a 41 is going to be another punt. Fast-moving game between these two teams. Let's hope it stays that way. Kansas City with their second drive coming up. That'll be 10 time coming off the clock for the Chiefs. Down to 5 minutes to play in the first quarter. 12 coming off of LA's defense, and a 54. That'll be a field goal attempt. The Chiefs will send Nick Lowry on to try to make this kick. Let's see what he can do with this one to try to give the Chiefs the lead. He's an 11-62 on the field goal. That is a 46. That'll be up. It'll be good, and the Chiefs will have the first lead of the game. Stadium cheers. Yay! And now I've got to refresh myself on how to determine the length of the field goal kick, because it's been a while since I've done that. Okay, so white times red plus blue plus yellow. So white times red is 24, 26, and 17 is a 43-yard kick. And the Chiefs lead 3-0. That will pull momentum back. We'll have a kickoff, but we can skip the kickoff procedure. LA with their third drive of this quarter. That will be 7 time coming off the clock. Down to 2:20 to play. 9 coming off of LA's offense, but a 12 is going to be a fumble, and the Raiders are going to put that one on the ground. Chiefs can return a fumble on an 11-13 for a touchdown, but the 13 needs to be accompanied by a 43 and under. Let me make sure I read that correctly. I have not played this since I finished my 1972 replay. Yes, I believe the 13 needs to be accompanied by a 43 and under on blue and yellow, which that is not going to be returned for a touchdown, but a 15 will be picked up by Scott Radisick. Stadium cheers. Yay! Kansas City with their third drive of the first quarter. That'll be 10 time coming off the clock, which will take us into the second quarter as the Chiefs with a very narrow 3-0 lead. 11 will be coming off of LA's defense. 44, the Raiders are going to force a punt. LA with their first drive of the second quarter. That'll be 7 time coming off the clock for the Raiders. Down to 11:40 to play. 8 coming off of LA's offense. And a 61. That'll be a touchdown run, and the Raiders will take the lead. Stadium groans. Ugh. Rolling for the touchdown. 25 will be Marcus Allen running that one in from 3 yards out. Chris Barr coming in to try to add the extra points. Making some notes here. Barr is an 11-64 on the extra point. Let's see if he can split the uprights with this one. Easily he will. As LA now holds a 7-3 lead. Taking off our time for the kickoff. And here's Kansas City with their second drive of the second quarter. That'll be 8 time coming off the clock. As we're down to 8:40 to play. 7 coming off of their offense. And a 66 is going to be a touchdown pass. And the Chiefs are going to take the lead right back. That'll pull momentum back over. And we'll see who makes the touchdown reception for the Chiefs. 54 will be Walt Arnold, making that reception from 8 yards out. Lowry will come in to add the extra point, since he's an 11-66. Score is now 10-7 in favor of the Chiefs. Raiders with their second drive of the second quarter. Down 3. Wow, that'll be 3 time coming off the clock. A pretty bad drive. Down to 7:20 to play. 2 will be enough to come off Kansas City's defense. And a 21 is going to be an interception. Stadium cheers. Yay! Let's see if Kansas City can return the interception for a touchdown. 11-12, but the 12 needs to be accompanied by a 24 and under. That will not be returned for a touchdown, but that'll be Albert Lewis making that pick for the Chiefs. And now Kansas City with all the momentum coming out of that interception return. Chiefs with the ball, trying to extend their lead. That'll be 6 time coming off the clock for the Chiefs. 4 coming off of LA's defense. And a 51 is going to be a key penalty. And since Kansas City's got the momentum, LA is going to get flagged for a defensive pass interference call. Kansas City with new life on this drive after the Raiders got flagged recklessly on a DPI. Here's the offensive drive for the Chiefs. That'll be 6 time coming off the clock. Down to 3:20 to play. 52 on an offense is going to be another field goal attempt. Here comes Lowry to try to extend the lead. Again, an 11-62, he will extend the lead. That's an 11, he will easily extend that lead. As the Chiefs now have a 13-7 lead. Let's see, that'll be 1, 8, 25-yard kick, so that'll be a chip shot. As the Chiefs extend their lead, we'll tick off time for the Raiders, and we'll see what they can do with what's going to likely be their last drive of the second quarter. All right, that will be 10 time coming off the clock. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They will get exactsies on that. 11 coming off of LA's offense. And a 46 is going to be a field goal attempt. Here will come Chris Barr to try to give the Raiders, try to cut into this lead. He's an 11-45 to cut into the lead. And as long as 51. That's a 25. That'll be up, and that'll be good. And the Raiders will cut into the lead, as the score is now 13-10 heading into halftime. But before we get there, 10, 16, and 17 is a 33-yard kick. And of course, LA comes out in the third quarter with the ball. So I'll remember to change that. And as I'm doing 2 games, I'm not going to take my usual halftime break, but I will, however, take a quick drink of my Crystal Light. All right. We've already ticked off the time for the kickoff, so the Raiders get the ball to start the second half of this game. Let's see what LA can do here. Wow, a lot with it from the looks of it. 9 time coming off the clock. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8 coming off of LA's offense, and a 65 is going to be another touchdown pass. Mark Wilson seems to be firing on all cylinders tonight, as the Raiders now take a 16-13 lead pending the extra point. Arena groans. Ugh. Let's see, a 36 on a touchdown pass will be Doki Williams. Hauling that one in from 8 yards out. Here comes Barr to try to add the extra point. Once again, he's an 11-64. That is a 64, but the extra point is up, and it is good. And the Raiders will take a 17-13 lead, along with momentum to start the second half of this game. All right, Chiefs will tick off time for the kickoff, and then they will get their first drive of the second half. Let's see what the Chiefs can do here. Not much. 3 time coming off the clock for the Chiefs. Down to 10:20 to play. 3 coming off of LA's defense, and a 12. And the Chiefs are going to put that one on the ground. LA is an 11-13, but a 32 and under with the 13 on the blue and yellow for a fumble return for a touchdown. No, a 33 fumble will be picked up by Jeff Barnes. Stadium barfs. Blah. Raiders now with their second drive of the third quarter, up by 4, trying to extend the lead. That will be 7 time coming off the clock. Down to 8 minutes to play here in the third quarter. 7 coming off the team with momentum. That is LA's offense. And a 51 is going to be a field goal attempt. And Barr is going to try to extend this lead for the Raiders. He is an 11-45, trying to extend the lead, though. And where did my white die go? It didn't fall. It got into the scoreboard. Brilliant. So Barr trying to extend the lead for the Raiders. 20, that'll be up, and that'll be good to extend the lead. So 6, 11, 17 is a 28-yard kick. And the Raiders now have a 20-13 lead. Stadium groans. Ugh. Kansas City will tick off time, but a 7-point lead is very reachable for the Chiefs. Let's see what they can do with their second drive of the third quarter. They'll tick off 6 time from the clock. Down to 5:40 to play in the third. 5 coming off of LA's offense. And a 51. That'll be a key penalty, and the Chiefs are going to take a bad holding call. And they'll have to punt the ball away. Chiefs sideline barfs. Blech. As they give the ball right back to the Raiders. Raiders now looking to extend the lead. Let's see what Oakland can do with this drive. Not a lot from the looks of it. 8 time coming off the clock. Down to 3:20 to play. 12 coming off LA's offense. 26 is going to be a punt. I did not pay attention to when the Chiefs had to punt earlier because they have a block chance, but it's not likely they're going to get a punt blocked. Ray Guy is not going to have a punt blocked. So I can skip that for him at least. Kansas City with their third drive of the third quarter. That'll be 6 time coming off the clock for the Chiefs. 8 coming off of Kansas City's offense, but an 11, they're going to put that one on the ground. Let's see if Oakland can return it for a touchdown. That's a 15, close, but no. A 41 will be Barnes picking that one up again. That's the second fumble that Barnes has taken away from the Chiefs tonight. LA with this drive should take us into the fourth quarter of this game. Let's see what happens here. That'll be 6 time coming off the clock. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that will take us into the fourth quarter of this game. As the Raiders have now opened up a 20-13 lead on the Chiefs. Coming back to the drive, though. 6 coming off of Kansas City's defense. And a 13. The Raiders are going to put that one on the ground. Can the Chiefs return a fumble for a touchdown? An 11-13 with a 43 and under gets the Chiefs right back in this game. No, not even close. But that'll be Mike Bell falling on that one for the Chiefs. Stadium cheers. Yay! Chiefs with their first drive of the fourth quarter, though. That'll be 7 time coming off the clock for the Chiefs. They need to get something going here. 11:40 to play. 7 coming off the team with momentum. That is Oakland's defense. 36, the Chiefs are going to have to punt that one away. We'll roll for Arnold to see if he gets the punt blocked. He's an 11-54 on the punt block. No, he will not have that punt blocked. And of course, no return for the Raiders since we don't have a punt return procedure. Well, we have a punt return procedure, but not for these teams. Raiders with the return. Raiders with the drive. Wilson drops back to take the pass, and here's the drive. Wow, that'll be ticking 11 time off the clock. A punishing drive. Down to 8 minutes to play. Probably a death blow. 12 coming off of LA's offense. And a 65 is going to be another touchdown pass. And the Raiders are going to get some breathing room as they now lead 26-13. Stadium groans. Ugh. And on the reception, that'll be a 13. That'll be Todd Christensen making that catch from 8 yards out. Christensen. Barr coming on to try to add the extra point. Once again, he's an 11-64. That's a 36. That'll be up, and that will be good. And the Raiders now have a 2-touchdown lead, 27-13. We'll tick off time for the Chiefs, and we'll see what their next drive gets up to. The time we were ticking off was for the kickoff. Chiefs have it. Kenny drops back, and here's the drive. That'll be taking 7 time off the clock. Down to 5:40 to play. 9 coming off of Kansas City's 9 coming off Kansas City's offense. 42, though, the Chiefs are going to have to punt again. Arnold can have a punt blocked on an 11 with a 54 and under. Can the Chiefs get this punt away? Yes, they can. No block, no return. LA with it now. Can they land the death blow? Once I stop dropping dice, they probably can. But let's see what happens here. That looks like the death blow to me. But let's tick off time. Let's tick off 8 time first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Down to 3 minutes to go. 10 coming off of LA's offense. And a 62 is going to be a touchdown run. I cannot count the number of times I've said Oakland when I meant LA in 1985. At least LA is playing better than my commentary is tonight. That'll be 33-14, or to 13, pending the extra point. But we need to roll for the touchdown first. .25 will be Marcus Allen running that in from 2 yards out. Barr out to try to add the extra point. And he will. That'll be up, and that'll be good. And LA now opening up a 34-13 lead. We'll tick off time for the Chiefs, but this game is probably over at this point. All right, I ticked off time already. That'll be 8 time coming off the clock. This will be the end of the game. 7 coming off of LA's defense, and a 26. That'll be a quarterback sack. That's the final gun, and the LA Raiders win this one by a final score of 34-13. Stadium barfs. Bleh. But I'm going to go slightly quiet here while I reset the... Well, actually, I'm not going to go completely quiet while I reset the board for our second game. We will be moving down to Houlihan Stadium, but I do want to talk a little bit about where this is going. So with 1985 at least, there's definitely a possibility of a split. If I decide to do a replay of the 1985 NFL season, I could very easily set up a split replay because it turns out I've got 1985 in 3 different systems. I've got it in 5D20 football, Glory Days Pro Football, and in Momentum Football. And now that I've had some time to kind of let it cool down, 5D20 football, I actually like how cheap it is to get into, especially because I got the PDF seasons. I got some PDF seasons for, I want to say, $12 a piece, and it was not expensive at all to get those 5D20 football seasons. Certainly nothing like you'd pay for APA. More comparable to this, where everything's on one sheet. And while the flow is hell in terms of having to look everything up, I think that's just the nature of the beast of how some of these play-by-play games work. Where, yes, it is going to take you a little bit longer. Excuse me. It is going to take you a little bit longer to go through and get everything and get all your lookups done. So there's still a possibility of potentially doing a mixed replay using those 3 systems. Since as I mentioned, I have it in 5D20 football. I have 1985 and 5D20 football, Glory Days Pro Football, and in Momentum Football. But we'll see what I think of using Momentum Football as part of that, using this double ticker test. This will also hold true for my Momentum Football replays moving forward. We are not even 30 minutes in, and we're already done with our first game. So now we find ourselves down at Houlihan Stadium, as we've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the Minnesota Vikings. And then after this, we'll run the ticker using Ultra Quick Football by Downey Games. Once again, we're going to go to the same place we started, and that's with the coin toss. Buccaneers, Vikings, decision. Same decision parameters on the coin toss. All right, that's going to be a tie, but the winning team will receive. So we'll pull the yellow D6 out and re-roll the coin toss. Buccaneers will win the coin toss. Neither team similarly has kickoff or punt return procedures, so we don't have to worry about that. Tampa Bay will get the ball to start this game, and we are now off to the races. So the Buccaneers get their first drive. DeBerg drops back. He will take the snap, and here's the drive. That will be 5 time coming off the clock for the Buccaneers. Down to 13 minutes to play. 6 coming off of Minnesota's defense. And to 14, that's going to be a fumble right away. Minnesota on an 11-12 will return that for a touchdown. Picking that one up for the Vikings is going to be Teal. He's got it. He's managed to slip past everybody. He's at the 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Vikings take the early lead. Stadium barfs. Bleh. Right. Let's see. Jan Stenerud is coming out to try to add the extra point. He is an 11-64 to add the extra point. That is 51. Kick is up. It is good. And just like that, the Vikings hold a 7-0 lead. That was double momentum changing, so Minnesota now in control of the flow of this game. Tampa Bay coming back out for their second drive of the first quarter, and the Minnesota offense has yet to take the field, already with the lead. DeBerg drops back again, hopefully holding on to the ball a little bit better this time, but he will take the snap, and here's the drive. That'll take another 8 time off the clock. Nine coming off of Tampa Bay's offense and a 62. That'll be a touchdown run, and the Buccaneers will get that one right back. Let's roll for the touchdown. 52 will be James Wilder. He'll take that in from 1 yard out. Here comes Donald Igwebuike. I am totally butchering the pronunciation of this name. Let's see if he can add the extra point. He's an 11 to 64. That is up. It is good, and we are tied at 7. And while the fans cheer, I'm going to take a quick drink of my Crystal Light, see if I can't get rid of this frog in my throat. All right. That'll pull momentum slightly back. That really didn't help. Vikings now take the field for the first time on offense. Tommy Kramer takes the snap. He will drop back, and here's the drive. That'll be 9 time coming off the clock. $11 coming off of Minnesota's offense, and a 34. The Vikings are going to have to punt that one away. And of course, we've got no block on Coleman and no return for the Buccaneers. So no problems there. Tampa Bay gets the ball back for their 3rd drive of the first quarter. DeBerg takes the snap, he drops back, and here's the drive. That'll be another 7 time coming off the clock. Down to 4:20 to play in the first quarter. 10 coming off of Tampa Bay's offense, but a 22, that's going to be an interception. Second turnover by the Buccaneers tonight. Minnesota can return that on an 11 to 12 for a touchdown, but the 12 needs to be accompanied by a 45 and under. And no, that'll be Carl Lee stepping in front of that one for the Vikings. Minnesota with their second drive of the first quarter. Let's see what the Vikings can do with that once I swap the logos, because that would be moderately helpful. So nobody gets confused. I didn't realize I had them swapped, but the Vikings are on the road for this one. Kramer drops back. He takes the snap, and here's the drive. That'll be 10 time coming off the clock for the Vikings. Down to 1 minute to play in the first quarter. 11 coming off of Minnesota's offense, and a 44 is going to be a key pass. So Kramer's got it on a 3rd down and 6. Can he keep the drive going? Let's see what happens. That is a 15, and he's going to get sacked. Stadium cheers. Yay! And the Vikings will have to punt that one away. This next drive for Tampa Bay should take us into the second quarter of this game. Let's see what happens, though. A 7 time off the clock will take us into the second quarter. And we'll go in tied at 7. A 10 coming off of Tampa Bay's offense, but a 13 is going to be another fumble. Let's see if Minnesota has any better luck returning this fumble. Actually, they got their touchdown on a fumble. So let's see if they can do it again. Not this time. That'll be Dolman falling on that one for the Vikings. Minnesota with their first drive of the second quarter. That'll be 7 time coming off the clock. Down to 11:20 to play. 9 coming off of Minnesota's offense, but a 22 is going to be an interception of their own. Apparently, these two teams want to play hot potato with the football. Tampa Bay can't return an interception for a touchdown, but John Holt will step in front of that one, and he'll get run out of bounds. Stadium cheers. Yay! Tampa Bay with their second drive of the second quarter. Let's see what the Buccaneers can do with this one. DeBerg will drop back. He will take the snap, and here's the drive. That'll be 7 time coming off the clock for the Buccaneers. Down to 9 minutes to play. 6 coming off of Minnesota's defense, and a 53. That's going to be a field goal attempt for the Buccaneers to try to take the lead. Our friend Donald Igwebuike I'm going to hold the name up so maybe somebody can tell me how it's pronounced. That's the kicker for the Buccaneers. I am about 100% certain I am butchering that pronunciation. We'll just call him Iggy so I don't worry about butchering the pronunciation. He is an 11-51 to try to make this field goal with a long of 53. That is an 11. That is going to be a chip shot. That'll be up. That'll be good. And the Buccaneers will take the lead. 1, 5, and 17 is 22 yards. So the Buccaneers get into the red zone, but they can't convert against the stout Minnesota defense. We've already ticked time off for the kickoff, and the Vikings now have it with the next drive of the second quarter. And here's the drive from Kramer. That'll be taking 6 time off the clock. Let's see, 4 coming off of Tampa Bay's defense, and a 15. That's going to be another interception. Second interception that Kramer's thrown in this game. And this time it'll be Jeremiah Castile jumping in front of that one for the Buccaneers. Stadium cheers. Yay! Just had to update some of my notes. Buccaneers now with it. Yeah, they should have the lead. I forgot to update the scoreboard after the field goal. All right. DeBerg takes it. He will take the snap, and here's the drive. That'll be 7 time coming off the clock. Bringing us down to 4:20 to play in the first half. 6 coming off of Minnesota's defense. 54 is going to be another field goal attempt. Iggy coming out to try to extend this lead. Let's see what he can do here. He'll put that up, and that'll be through the uprights. 6, 12, and 17 is a 29-yard kick. Once again, the Buccaneers get into the red zone, but they still can't do anything with it. 13-7, Tampa Bay. Taking off time for the kickoff. And here come the Vikings as they've given up a pair of field goals. ID Jester now joins us here at Houlihan Stadium. Igabuke. Thanks for the pronunciation on that. Like I said, I was certain I was butchering that, and I was, to the surprise of, well, not yours truly. Anyway, Vikings with the ball, and here's the drive. That'll be 7 time coming off the clock for the Vikings. 7 coming off the team with momentum. That's Tampa Bay's defense. And a 56. That'll be a touchdown run, and this game is tied. As it is now 13-all, pending the extra point. Let's see who took that in for the Vikings. 34, Ted Brown. Taking that one in from 2 yards out. Here comes Stenerud to try to give the Vikings the lead. And he will. That will be a 14-13 lead for the Vikings. We'll tick off time. And this drive from Tampa Bay should take us into halftime, unless I want to invoke the house rule of the Hail Mary, and I think I will. So we're at 5 time left on the clock. I will invoke the house rule, since a roll is likely to exhaust all of that time, and we'll try the Hail Mary. My house rule is it's going to turn into a key reception. Anything other than a... So we'll roll for who makes the catch. We'll roll for a key reception. So we're rolling. So over the Hail Mary, we're rolling on this section of the sheet. Let's see what Tampa Bay can do with the Hail Mary. That will be 45. That will be Jimmy Giles trying to make that catch, except he will make the catch, but it'll be a first down, so that'll end up being a failed Hail Mary. And heading into the half, the Vikings now hold a 14-13 lead. As Minnesota gets the ball to start the second half of this game, now I will take a small break. I have 2 more tests I want to run this month, but I'm going to hold tight. I'm going to hold those 2 tests tight to the vest. All I'll say is one of them could impact the potential of a mixed 1985 football season replay. As far as what's scheduled on the channel, tomorrow morning we'll be leading off with a game of Terra Mystica. We'll talk about again what's coming up on the channel once this game is over. Anyway, I've already ticked off the time for the Vikings, and now everybody's back out for the second half. Since the Buccaneers won the coin toss at the start of the game, the Vikings get the ball to start the second half. Kramer will drop back with the pass. Will drop back with the ball. He will start, and here's the drive. That'll be 6 time coming off the clock for the Vikings. Down to 12:40 in the third quarter. 7 coming off the team with momentum. Right now, that's Tampa Bay's defense. 14 is going to be another fumble. These 2 teams have been playing hot potato with the football tonight. Nobody wants it. Like the house rule, but I need to expand on it. Not every team will get to do a Hail Mary. So maybe they roll a D6, and if they roll time left or higher, they get the Hail Mary. I actually could see that. Actually, I do kind of like that house rule. Let me jot that down. Thanks for the input on that, Jester, because I do want to make it a little bit more realistic. Because logically, if you're at the end of the game if you're at the end of the game trailing, you're gonna try to go for a Hail Mary. Similarly, maybe I'll add that. D6 at end. Time left. No Hail Mary. I've got a similar house rule where if the team comes in with the lead at the end of the game, then they get a kneel down. Maybe I'll do the same thing with the other way on that one. So if the team comes in leading at the end of the game, they roll a D6. If they roll time left, they have to roll the play. Otherwise, they can go into victory formation and end it. I could see that working. Anyway, we were just about to roll the fumble to see who jumps on it for the Buccaneers. 61 will be John Holt jumping on that one. Stadium cheers. Yay! First drive of the third quarter for the Buccaneers. That's part of why I'm doing these tests before I do another replay. The primary test here was to see how a double game would work for using momentum football as the main game. But I'm getting some ideas I can play around with. Anyway, Buccaneers have the ball, and here's the drive. That'll be 6 time coming off the clock for the Buccaneers. Down to 10:40 to play. 5 coming off of Minnesota's defense with a 25. That'll be a quarterback sack. Stadium groans. Ugh. Let's see if the Buccaneers can get this punt off clean. It's an 11 and a 64 under to get it blocked. No, that punt will get away nice and clean. Minnesota with their second drive of the third quarter. That'll be 9 time coming off the clock. A grindy drive for the Vikings. Let's see, a 10 coming off of their offense with a 43. That'll be a key run. A 3rd and short, and the Vikings are trying to keep this drive alive. Can they do it? Kramer takes the snap, and here's the key run. He'll be giving that ball over to Nelson, and on a 25, that'll be a first down. Stadium groans. Ugh. Minnesota with an offensive reading here. Let's see what they can do with this drive. They're going to continue to chew clock with this one. 8 time coming off the clock for the Vikings. 5 minutes left to play. A 52 is going to be a field goal attempt. The Vikings will be looking to try to extend this lead. Stenerud coming out to try to make this kick. He's an 11 to 43. Can he extend the Vikings' lead? Vikings would love to get some breathing room. A 1-point lead is not remotely safe in football. That is a 65. Kick is up. Actually, I forgot to roll these two as well, but I know the kick will already be no good. Yeah, kick is up. Kick is shanked terribly. 37 and 17 is a 54-yard kick. That would have been outside of his long anyway. Stadium cheers. Yay! Buccaneers with it now. Let's see what they can do here. Wow, 6 time off the clock. Down to 3 minutes to play in the quarter. 6 coming off of Minnesota's defense. And an 11, that's going to be another fumble. That is the 3rd fumble the Buccaneers have lost tonight. and they surrendered points on the first one. What happens here? That will be Dennis Folks smothering that one for the Vikings. Still a 1-point game. Vikings coming out for their next drive of the third quarter. That'll be 7 time coming off the clock. That won't take us into the fourth quarter. 7 coming off the team with momentum. Right now, that's their offense. 45 is going to be a key reception. All of a sudden, it is 3rd and 6 for the Vikings. They're at their own 36. Can Kramer get this one out to somebody to keep the drive going? Let's find out. 56 is going over to Ted Brown. And a 14. Brown's got that one. He is off to the races. He's got the first down, and he's got more. He's picking up some blockers. He's down at the 30. 25-20, 15-10, 5, touchdown, Ted Brown. Stadium barfs. Bleh. He takes that the length of the field, and the Vikings now have a 20-13 lead, pending the extra point from Stenerud. An 11-64 on the extra point. That's a 23. That extra point is up, and it is good. And the Vikings now have a much safer 8-point lead. This next drive from Tampa Bay should take us into the fourth quarter. So let's see what happens with the drive for the Buccaneers. That'll be 8 time coming off the clock for the Buccaneers. That will indeed take us into the fourth quarter with the score Minnesota 21, Tampa Bay 13. Coming back to the drive, 7 coming off of Minnesota's momentum, coming off of Minnesota's defense with a 36. The Buccaneers are going to have to punt that one away. We'll see if the punt gets blocked for the Buccaneers. It's an 11-64. That will not get blocked. Tampa Bay cannot afford any more mishaps. Although the Vikings seem to not want to keep this game under control. Let's see what they do here with the ball. Kramer will drop back. He will take the snap, and here's the drive. That'll be 5 time coming off the clock. Almost a rare play. Down to 11 minutes to play. 5 coming off of their offense with a 33. That's going to be a quarterback sack, and their line was porous on that one. Stadium cheers. Yay! And no block procedure, so that makes my life very easy. But of course, that will pull momentum slightly toward Tampa Bay, who gets their second drive of the fourth quarter. Let's see what the Buccaneers can do with this one. That'll be 7 time coming off the clock. 8:40 to play. 4 coming off Minnesota's defense. And a 63. That will be a touchdown pass, and we have got high drama tonight. That'll be 21-19 Minnesota, pending the extra point. While the stadium's cheering, let's find out who scored the touchdown reception. 52 will be Calvin McGee from 4 yards out. Can Igabuke make this a 1-point game? He's an 11-64. Wow, barely. Minnesota got some pressure in, but he can make this a 1-point game. And it is now 21-20 in favor of Minnesota. We have got high drama here at Houlihan Stadium tonight, as neither team seems to want to keep enough control to win this game. Kramer gets the ball. Vikings leading by 1. He will take the snap, and here's the drive. That will be 6 time coming off the clock for the Vikings. Down to 6:40 to play. 5 coming off of their offense with a 35. The Vikings are going to have to punt that one away. Score is still 21-20 in favor of Minnesota. But Tampa Bay now with the ball. We know anything can happen when the creamsicles are on the field. Buccaneers, DeBerg takes the snap, and here's the drive. That will be 7 time coming off the clock for the Buccaneers. Down to 4 minutes to play. 4 coming off Minnesota's defense, and a 62. That is going to be a touchdown run, and the Buccaneers are going to take the lead for the first time in this game. And while the stadium cheers, we'll figure out who scored and from how far out. The score is now 26-21 in favor of Tampa Bay, pending the extra point. That will be James Wilder taking that in from 2 yards out. We'll see if Igabuke can add the extra point. He can. And Tampa Bay now has a 27-21 lead. High drama tonight at Houlihan Stadium. Minnesota ticks time off for the kickoff. Let's see what they can do with this drive. They need a touchdown. That seems like it's going to be helpful. 8 time coming off the clock for the Vikings. 6 coming off of their offense, and a 62. That is going to be a touchdown run, and the Vikings have the lead right back. Actually, no, they don't have the lead back yet. Score is tied right now at 27 all, pending the extra point. First, while the stadium is busy groaning, let's see who scored the touchdown for the Vikings. 34 is going to be Ted Brown rumbling that in. From doubles, 8 times 2, 16 yards out. He manages to get through the Tampa Bay defense, and he'll score. Stenerud out to try to give the Vikings the lead. He is an 11-64. That's a 53. Kick is up, and it is good. And the Vikings now have a 1-point lead. And now Tampa Bay is going to test this new house rule for a Hail Mary. So we're going to roll. We have 3 time left in the game. Tampa Bay is going to roll a D6. If they roll a 3 or higher, if they roll a 3 or higher, if they roll a 3 or higher, they get the Hail Mary pass. If this is a 2 or a 1, Tampa Bay is going to run a full play using that time. That is a 5, so Tampa Bay will get the Hail Mary. And that'll be a key reception for Tampa Bay. Everything should be 28-27, by the way. I will remember to change that. Everything comes down to this Hail Mary. Tampa Bay, DeBerg drops back. Everybody going down the field. Minnesota in a prevent defense. They don't want Tampa Bay to score here. DeBerg heaves it. Here's the pass. That'll be a 12. That's going to Kevin House. And a 36 would be a first down, but for the purposes of the Hail Mary, play is considered failed. And that will be the end of the game once I get my notes updated here. He catches it, but it's a first down, and that will do it for this game. Minnesota will pick up this win by a final score of 28-27. Stadium groans. Ugh. Whoop. What a game tonight. Just updating my score from the other game. So Minnesota picks this one up by a final score of 28-27. Of course, that's only the first half of the test, because now we need to see how the rest of the league fared. Let's do this. So in a doubleheader tonight, the Raiders beat up on the Chiefs 34-13, and Minnesota survives a last-second Hail Mary to beat Tampa Bay. But how did the rest of the league fare? Let's ask the ticker and find out. As usual, we are using Ultra Quick Football by Downey Games as our ticker. So the way this works is we've got a base score for each team. I'll roll D100 for each team, and then we'll use that on the chart to get the final score. We'll roll green D100 for the away team, red for the home. First up, Bills and the Jets. Bills roll a 16. They would subtract 6 points, but they're already at 0. Jets roll a 61. They will add 3 points to their base score, and the Jets will take that one in a shutout, 23-0. Patriots and the Bears. Patriots roll a 26. They are subtracting 3 points from their base score, but they're already at 16. Chicago rolls a 29. They're subtracting 2 points from theirs, and the Bears will take that one in a shutout, 17-0. Bengals and the Cardinals. Bengals roll a 68. They are adding 6 points to their base score. Cardinals roll a 15. They're subtracting 7 from theirs. Right. And the Bengals take that one by a final score of 28-16. Colts and the Dolphins. Colts roll a 61. They're adding 3 points to their base score. Dolphins roll a 6. They're subtracting 10 points from theirs. Unfortunately for the Colts, that is not enough, as the Dolphins will take that one 18-12. Cowboys and the Lions. Cowboys roll a 46. No change to their base score. Lions roll a 23. They're subtracting 3 points from theirs. That will still be enough, as the Lions will avenge their 1972 wildcard loss to Dallas by a final score of 15-10. Redskins and the Oilers. Oilers roll an 81. They're adding 8 points to their base score. Redskins roll a 17. They're subtracting 6 points from theirs, but the Redskins still take that game by a final score of 16-9. Rams and the Eagles. Rams roll a 43. No change to their base score. Eagles roll a 10. They're subtracting 6 from theirs, and the Rams will take that one 8-2. Falcons and the 49ers. This should be a blowout. Falcons roll a 13. They're subtracting 7 points from their base score, but that takes them down to 0. Niners roll an 81. They're adding 8 points to their base score, and the Niners beat up on the Falcons 36-0. Saints and the Broncos. Saints roll a 54. They're adding 2 points to their base score. Broncos roll an 86. They're adding 10 points to theirs. The Broncos will take that one in a blowout over the Saints, 35-7. Giants and the Packers. Giants roll a 95. They're adding 17 points to their base score. Packers roll a 32. They're subtracting 2 points from theirs. And the Giants will take that one by a final score of 27-12. Seahawks and the Chargers. Seahawks roll a 27. They are subtracting 2 points from their base score. Chargers roll an 85. They're adding 10 to theirs. And the Chargers will take that one 31-17. Last up, Steelers and the Browns. Steelers roll a 34. There's no change to their base score. Browns roll a 43. Also no change to their base score. So the Browns will take that one by a final score of 20-6. And that will do it for this playthrough of Momentum Football. Looking at the time, I am very warm to the idea of doing season replays in Momentum Football using 2 games for each block. That definitely worked very, very well. It took me just over an hour to get through 2 games and an entire ticker. So that could work very well, whether I do Momentum as part of like a combined system replay or as its own base like I did for 1972. Because I do remember that was one big piece of feedback I got coming out of the 1972 replay, where because of how I was picking the games and I was only doing 1 per week, it ended up with some teams getting shut out on the board, and we had a winless season, which might have been caused by the Eagles not getting on the board. Even though in 1972, from the looks of it, the Eagles were just absolutely atrocious. So I don't think we can hold that against how the ticker was structured. But like I said, I'm very happy with how this test worked, so I could see using it moving forward with Momentum Football. But I'm rambling, and I've got to set up tomorrow morning's stream, so let's go ahead and wrap this video up. Our first stream tomorrow morning will be bright and early, as we're playing Terra Mystica from Feuerland Spiel. Later tomorrow afternoon, we'll be playing Gaia Project, and I may have another test project because I've got 2 more coming up, but we'll see what I think of those. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care, everyone.